Welcome everyone to another edition of Marketing the Invisible. My name is Tom Poland, beaming out to you as always from little Castaways Beach in Queensland, Australia. Joined today by Rand Fishkin. Rand, g'day sir, very warm welcome. Where are you hanging out?
I'm in Seattle, Washington, Tom.
Seattle, Washington. Hands across the water. We've got that little ditch between us called the Pacific Ocean. Other than that, next door neighbors.
Basically.
Um, for those of you who don't know Rand, you probably know of his products and services, but you may not know the man behind it because he likes to sort of fly below the radar scope, which is why I'm especially appreciative of you being here for this interview, Rand. He's the co-founder of SparkToro, which is a platform that instantly helps you to instantly discover what your audience reads, what they watch, what they listen to, and who they follow. He was previously the co-founder of Moz, which is a globally successful and much smarter way to do search engine optimization. He's the author of Lost and Found, a painfully honest guide to the startup world, which I've ordered and is on its way from the UK to me here in Australia. But he's also the co-author of The Art of SEO, which is an absolute classic in the world of SEO. So a real privilege to have you here, Rand. Thanks for rocking up. Our title today is very interesting. How to break out of the Google, Facebook duopoly. And my goodness, isn't it a duopoly? So, Rand, our time starts now, sir. Question number one, who is your ideal client?
So SparkToro provides audience research. It is primarily used by marketers. Those are in-house marketers at brands of all sizes, but we really love small and medium businesses and agencies and consultants too.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Question two, 6.5 minutes left. What's the problem you solve for them?
SparkToro helps people to instantly understand lots of attributes, behaviors, and demographics about their target audience. So if you want to find out what orthodontists in the UK are watching, or which podcasts chemical engineers in Canada pay attention to, or you want to know what sources of influence are powerful with architects in Los Angeles, SparkToro can tell you those things in just a few seconds.
So incredible intel, not just in terms of figuring out what sort of messages those different markets and different regions are responding to, but perhaps also the distribution channels that are reaching them. So some pretty serious intel going on there. Thank you, sir. Question three, 6 minutes left. Typical symptoms that someone who needs SparkToro might be experiencing in their business that gives them kind of a heads up that they should check it out.
Has this ever happened to you, Tom? You throw billions of dollars at Google and Facebook, and they take all your money from you and then give you very little value back. It happens to a lot of marketers.
Right. And then they sell what you told them to the other ones.
Well, so this is my big frustration, right, with Facebook and Google, is that their incentives, right, to their investors into Wall Street is basically say, oh, Tom, you're selling something for $100. We would like to charge you $99.99 to advertise that thing to your audience. That is the big problem that essentially SparkToro is helping with at a high level.
Right.
Obviously, in the tactical details, right, it's really about, can I find ways to influence and impact my audience outside of the duopoly so that I can build my brand, so that I can build my marketing channels, my email list, my way, and own and control the means of growing my business.
So folks, if you think that Rand is exaggerating when he's talking about paying 99.9 cents on the dollar for your marketing through Facebook and Google, that is the exact reason why I got out of Facebook advertising, because all we were doing was breaking even and putting money into Mark Zuckerberg's back pocket, probably so we can build another rocket and go into space. So, great, thank you,
He's
sir.
the only one who hasn't done it yet, so I'm sure it's coming up.
Watch this space. Watch this space. Did you get that? Okay. Question four, I'll move on. 4 minutes left. Question four, what are some common mistakes that people are making when they're trying to break out of that Facebook, Google duopoly? What are some of the stuff they're doing that turns out was just a more waste of time and money?
I think the two big ones are, number one, relying on surveys and interviews to answer questions like, what does my audience pay attention to? Who are they watching and following? What publications they read? What are their sources of influence? Unfortunately, while surveys and interviews are awesome for a whole bunch of things, I highly recommend them. I don't recommend them if you want to discover the leading publications in the world of chemical engineers in Canada. It's just not going to, people are not going to tell you
Right.
In a survey great answers to that question.
Right. We've found this so often the case with marketing, and what people tell you that they're doing is actually very different, not because they're deliberately misleading, because they forget. It's very different to what they are actually doing, and what you're identifying is their actions, their behaviors, who they're actually listening to, not what they tell you they're listening to in a kind of a feedback session or something. I think that's very
exactly
pertinent.
right. The way SparkToro works is it just passively crawls the web and social accounts and then collects that data based on what people actually do.
Right.
Like all these people who say they're orthodontists in Australia visited this website and subscribe to this podcast and follow this YouTube channel and pay attention to this person on LinkedIn. So it's passively collected. It's just literal behavioral data.
Right. All right. And I mean, it reminds me of, if you ask someone here in Australia, do you like McDonald's? They go, oh no, it's very unhealthy. I'll never eat there. And yet they're doing like $1 billion a year. So someone's lying, right?
Someone's saying something that doesn't quite match up.
Yeah. I don't think we're all being honest with each other there. Okay. So thank you, sir. Question number 5, 2.25 minutes left. One valuable free action, an idea or a tip. It's not going to solve the whole problem, but it might take people in the right direction.
Yeah, I think one of the best things that you can do to figure out your audience is take a publication or a source of influence that is already popular with your audience, that you sort of know, oh yeah, those guys, they're real big with, my orthodontist clients or with the chemical engineers I want to reach or the architects or whoever it is, and plug that source of influence into SparkToro, either their website or their social account. And SparkToro will tell you a whole bunch of other affinities and behaviors that are shared by that group's audience.
Wow. So you go into a whole different level, and then you can rinse and repeat, right?
Yeah. You can do this ad nauseum. You can keep finding whatever competitive sources of influence and analyzing them all.
That sounds like a fun and deep rabbit hole. 90 seconds left. One valuable free resource. Well, let's just give folks the website, SparkToro, Toro.com. What are they going to find there, Rand?
So the nice thing is we have a forever free account. So you can sign up.
Wow.
It will always be free. You can run a bunch of searches every month. I think it's 5 searches every month. And there's a few, other things that you can play around with. There's a few free tools at SparkToro.com. But if you go there and start searching, you will just be prompted to set up with an email.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I've been there. It's simple, folks. It looks incredibly powerful. I'm going to do it as soon as the interview ends. Question number 7, Rand, and we've got 50 seconds left. The one question I should have asked you but didn't, and the answer, please.
I think we should talk about how do we long-term disintermediate the power that these duopolies have over the advertising and marketing universe. And if you want my opinion,
yes, please.
SparkToro can make a teeny-weeny dent. And the bigger issue is going to be eventually we have to decide that competition is a good thing for capitalism and do some regulation.
Yeah. Okay. Rand, thank you so much for your time. It's been really interesting.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks for having me.
Cheers. Thanks for checking out our Marketing the Invisible podcast. If you like what we're doing here, please head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate us, and leave us a review. It's very much appreciated. And if you want to generate 5 fresh leads in just 5 hours, then check out www.5hourchallenge.com.